Interesting. So this is what it's like. I was, I literally started this morning at I'm gonna say 8 o'clock maybe, and it is now, I think, 6 o'clock. I was recording something or I was trying to record an idea while I was having it. And this idea involves money, as you can see, Bitcoin, as you can also see, but what you can't also see is an individual by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk. Very interesting person. I highly recommend you checking him out. He's on any social media platform you're on, so go look for him. Garyvee, and you'll probably find him. Anyway, the videos I started recording this morning, and I think I made a total of about six, or I don't know which one I uploaded last. I can't really keep track, but I was trying to record an idea I was having, and whether it was technical difficulties or just things happening or life as it were, it was essentially making it very difficult to record said idea. And it literally took me, I don't know how many hours, but it took me a while. To which point, I think this is the last step of it. Is happening, or is it a better idea to record something vlog style? And this is the two questions that I asked, which is audit me, please. So the two questions I asked there, I was trying to figure out, hey, is it easier to capture an idea in action? Or I think I called it a live idea. Basically, if I'm thinking of something, how do I record it? Do I do that with a live stream? Do I do that with a vlog style? Do I edit it a lot? Do I not edit it? How do I make it so that if I wanted to relive, or if I wanted to go back and figure out, all right, this is what you were thinking at this time of day, and here's where the other things you were thinking at the same time. If I was able to record that and go back and see, hey, this is what you were doing then, if I was able to do that, could I in turn, whether it's 6 months or 6 years from now, could I look back at it and be reminded that, if someone said, hey, in that video back in 2019, whatever, blah, 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 you started talking about X, and this is in the comments under the video. So you say, what were you going to say when you were here? Or when you were talking about this, you got sidetracked. What were you going to say? I could go back, look at it, look at all the information surrounding that moment that I was creating, and figure out, yeah, what was I thinking? And to be able to explain that idea or finish that train of thought or give the person the information they're looking for because maybe it would be valuable for them. I come up with ideas that really have a little to do with what I do day to day, but because it involves a lot of what I think about, that means that my mind goes places and asks questions that it's not really equipped to answer because it's not my profession. So I kind of end up with a lot of random ideas. I don't know. I wasn't planning on doing a live stream at all ever because I didn't really think it was my place to do it, or it didn't make sense for my message. Meanwhile, I had no clue what my message was. Now that I have a little bit of an idea, having gone through today and the 2 hour video and all the other stuff that I was able to upload from my phone, literally, all that information is somewhere. Whether or not someone else finds it valuable remains to be determined. So how do you not invest too much energy to then figure out that, oh, the things you were thinking about and the ideas that you had then aren't really that important to anyone right now, so let it sit there, leave it be, and maybe in a month or so someone will come across it and be thinking something because it happened to me direct message. I had sent a message to someone. It was about so one of my ideas is, or one of the ideas that I keep having revolve around the, what is it called, adult industry companies, or adult, basically when you think of technology and adoption and people using it and it getting its legs, so to speak, I think of like VHS and DVD, basically things that, well, excuse you, things that, for lack of a better word, the porn industry made us pay attention to. Put it that way. It wasn't that long ago. I don't want to sound like I'm, living in crypto years, but at a point, people ridiculed the internet as a place for pornographers and miscreants and ne'er do wells. That was the prevailing thought or the prevailing idea that those are the only kinds of people you're going to find on the internet because that's the only thing that's on the internet. Fast forward to today, that's not so much the case. You'd be hard pressed to engage in a day in your life without utilizing something or utilizing information that you received on the internet. So it's like today it's everywhere. So in micropayments and advertisements, those to me are going to be just as ubiquitous in the future as internet is now. Advertising and micropayments will be in the future. So I think, wait a minute, why can't, and yes, for any of those out there listening to this conversation, no, there is no one here listening, but I am talking to myself. So that's what I've been doing for 5 hours before this. So what's another hour? Who cares? Where was I? So basically, in trying to figure these, think about these ideas and figure out the answers, I literally am resorting to posting the questions on Twitter and hoping someone listens. It's very bizarre, but I kind of don't care if no one listens because Twitter at the moment is the best means of putting a message that can stay there for someone to see later, if that makes sense. So I like to use hashtags as a means of filing something away so that if I want to direct someone to it, and I'm not sure if this is how they do things in programming, but if I want to direct someone to a file of information that I put, sorry, this is very hard to stand still, um, but it helps me focus. Interesting. So if you wanted to get into a file that was, or if I want to put something in a file that I just thought of the ideas that I've been having for a while, and I wanted to put that idea in a file, I put a hashtag on it. And whether that's economy of ideas, which I think I do EOI, or blockchain profile, which I think is BCP, Bravo Charlie Papa, not BCG, not the BCGs. Um, and the key is because the tweet is so filled with other characters, I try and make it short. But then it's hard for anyone to know what the heck I'm talking about because it's 3 letters. But hopefully, when you click on the 3 letters and you see only my tweets, that kind of helps me because then that redirects your attention to what I'm trying to say about those 3 letters versus what someone else is trying to say. So I kind of use it as a filing mechanism. Anyway, I'm not sure if that's the point I was trying to get to or if there was something else I was interested in covering. Um, Yeah, other than this is my first live stream, so I was trying to figure out, how to do it. And until you actually do it, like I was wanting to do it with a screen capture because that's literally what I've been doing for the past 5 hours. So I don't want any of what I'm talking about as far as broadcasting my medium or my information. I don't want to sound like I know what I'm doing. I literally just started a few days ago. Well, relatively new as far as consistently putting something up. For the past day there's 7 videos, but before that there's not that many, and before that there's hardly any. So I'm kind of slowly working myself into this. But the live stream interested me because I'm trying what I'm using this YouTube channel for, and my Twitter and Instagram eventually, and everything else eventually. And by eventually I mean, yes, I want to still be doing this in 30 to 70 years. So I'm kind of in it for the long haul. And I picked that up from Gary. Definitely check him out. I see his journey as what he's done and the things he's accomplished. I see that being very blockchainable, if you will. I see that being something that's recordable, therefore, from my limited understanding of it, immutable, as long as you can put it into a network or put it into a hash or put it into mechanism of a mechanism of being able to tell what the recording said or tell what the transaction was. Basically, can I create a blockchain profile that works on everything on the internet? Basically, instead of having a Pinterest and an Instagram and a Twitter and a YouTube, instead of having all these individual platforms, instead of you having a username for all 10 of them, say there's 10, what if you had one thing like, what's it called? Global ID. I think they're on Twitter. It's basically an idea led by, I say idea because I don't know much more other than it's a very good idea and they're having a lot of success. Greg Kidd, Global ID. So basically, if you can identify yourself on a global scale, globally, I hope I didn't miss that word. If you can identify yourself as someone, that's kind of the first step in being able to exchange value with someone else. Because the only way able to get the right value for yourself, the only way you're going to get value from something else, aka buy something, the only way that's going to happen is if you identify someone having something that you want. So with this global ID, it's essentially how I see it, and I'm not sure how they plan to roll this out, but when I saw it, I thought, oh, that's great. You can have a profile that can then ride on the internet of value operating in the digital economy or an economy of ideas. So a lot of those terms, I'm not going to lie, I made up literally like within the past month or two because I don't know what else to call them. But I can see the crypto sphere being flipped on its head and upside down. When we think about how much value there is in the market, we think market cap, and we see $112 billion, and we think, oh, that's a lot. I think where we're going with this, basically, my plan B, the initial idea that I like out of this is blockchain profiles. We'll put a word to it. Making a profile on a blockchain that you control for your whole life. That includes features with artificial intelligence, machine learning, all sorts of things that we're working on now. I'm imagining a product that will be created, say, or start to be created in 10 years. I don't know. maybe a year, who knows? But we're talking about the information that would be needed to orchestrate and put together a blockchain profile is around now, I think. The only thing that needs to happen is have a means of which to record present information that can be then recalled later in life, if that makes sense. So it's basically a means of recording massive amounts of information that hopefully we will develop the technology later to be able to sift through it to find the answer to a question. When did I talk about blank? So to be able to go back and listen and find and determine, oh, this is where I spoke about, Beanfield's potato chips, or sorry, Beanfield's bean chips. If a month from now I'm trying to remember, crap, I remember looking at the bag, doing a live stream, but what did I see? It was some kind of advertisement that I thought Whole Foods might benefit from related to bean, whatever it is. If a month from now I'm like, hey, wait, what was that? What if I went to my blockchain profile, told my AI self, hey, go find Beanfields, what I said a week ago or a month ago, whatever. Imagine it being able to recall after looking through my blockchain, after going through, all the information and everything I've categorized in there. What if it could then come back to me and said, here's the live stream that you listened to it on, here's where you said it, and then here are some tweets afterwards that you said about it relating to Beanfields. Like, to me, I think, and I could be going out on a ledge, I think that's possible today. The problem is it's not valuable to anyone. Data and information is very valuable, but currently it's valuable to those that are trying to sell it to other people to be able to more understand our buying habits and living habits and overall existing habits as humans, to then be able to sell us more products. Like, when it comes down to it, that's it. Those sneaky ads that Google is able to put into your video without you knowing that it's an ad and you thinking, oh, did I hit, did I skip to the next video and it went off my trending topics and into something? What is it? Oh, this is interesting. Oh, I like this. Lo and behold, it's an ad by Google. They totally roped you in to a story, which our subconscious minds, I guess, are very susceptible to following stories if led carefully. If you want to sell someone something, you can't beat them over the head with it because, hello, they're not going to want to buy it. But if you slowly work them into they've got you. Well, why can't we do that for teaching kids how to be polite to girls they like? I'm making it up. Literally. Like, what's to say that kind of very, what's the word? That kind of precise mechanism, I don't want to say insidious because it can go either way. They're trying to sell you a product, but what if someone were to use the same method and sell you on a workout program, for example? We think of blockchain as just this Bitcoin thing. What if blockchain was your social media profile? And what if the App Store was the social media platform store where you could literally go and find out things that people are selling, whether it's, diet plans, and I mentioned it earlier today in a video, I'm not sure why I'm thinking of diets, but or a book club, like anything you might get value from online doing in your spare time when you're not working. Anything that revolves around that, whatever you're scrolling through or streaming through or consuming, imagine putting that information into an ad, which, as long as a smart contract is signed, and I went over that in, if I could remember the title, that would be great. Crap. So basically, smart contract in an ad. So let me tell you the story. I was basically doing a screen capture on something, on a video of Modern Investor. Shout out to him. I literally have listened to him every day, if not every other day, for the past year or two. I think it was right when he stopped doing, uh, when he started doing screen capture only videos. Right before that was when I was listening to him about kind of regular everyday investing stuff. And then he started getting more into the blockchain investing stuff. So I was watching a video from him, and on came an ad from Samsung. And it was a really cool ad. It had a really cool song. I remember seeing it before, literally walking out of Whole Foods. And it got my attention, and I was like, oh, I want to watch that. But I was literally walking out the store, but I caught myself wanting to watch it. So, whatever that was, they did a very good job at getting my attention. It happened again. I actually watched the full ad with my full attention and was like, oh, wow, that is a. I literally paused Modern Investor's video. And for all of you out, pause one of his videos to get sidetracked to do something else is rare. Normally, he has my undivided attention, pure and simple, just let it play and listen. But when I saw this ad from Samsung, I was like, holy, I just had the greatest idea. So today has also been partially trying to get that idea out, in addition to describing, well, the only way that idea works is if it is conjunction with blockchain profile, which to anyone in any social media or Bitcoin blockchain space knows that's not a term. So I will fully own that and admit I am making this up. I'm literally talking about ideas that I've had, things that I think about for my day-to-day life, and I'm trying to determine the best way to get those things out of my mind while, and here's the interesting part, this is what I got from Garyvee, while taking credit for them. Something that he spoke about meant a lot to me when he said, I don't remember where it was, but it was something to the effect of wanting to be right. And it was a little bit before when he started saying wanting to be happy. So it's like, I think he was mentioning it in the way of most time people say they don't want to be right, but secretly they want to be right. And Gary's like, I'm just honest enough to tell people no, or be a dick about it, or, do anything vindictive with it, because my intent is not like that, but I want to get credit for it. So that's why I'm saying record my ideas and get credit for them. That led me to, all right, how do you farm your ideas if the only way to plant them is to think about them for an extended amount of time? So then I thought, all right, blockchain, what if I could, through hashtags, categorize my ideas, hopefully in a way that made it easy for someone to go through them years from now to see, oh, what is that like? What's this thing you were talking about? And I'm probably repeating myself because I've been trying to describe this all day. So pardon me if I've been droning on for something for 20 minutes, and now finally I'm getting back on topic. But it's a topic that has been in my head for about 3 months, so it's not going to come out in one nice string of language you can understand. So bear with me. Crap, where was I going? So what would I need in order to make all this happen? I would need something to record everything I'm saying this whole entire day, because I literally thought I could do that on my phone, which I have been doing pretty well. But as I was editing my first, as I was editing the only 2-hour video I've made, as I was editing it, I got distracted and had to make other ones. And by other ones, I mean like 7 more. Because I was like, oh, this gave me another idea. And then I was trying to figure out, all right, do these ideas come out best recorded the way I was doing it with a screen capture? Or do they come out better live? Because then what do you do? What is it uploaded automatically after that? And I can continue on to having a thought or an idea that I was thinking. Basically, how do I not get interrupted recording myself? Because through uploading and phone calls and pop-up things on my phone, that's not easy. I got to be honest, it's kind of exhausting. I all day have not really eaten what I would have liked to have. That's because I can't help but record an idea that I have that I think someone might use later. And it could be a month from now, it could be 2 days from now, who knows, 5 years. But I need to record as much information as I can so that if someone asked me, hey, I'll give you $6,000 if you can tell me more about that conversation you had with yourself regarding Samsung and that method of advertisement that you were alluding to in your tweet at this time. If someone said that to me, I'd sit up and pay attention. I'd say, yeah, yes, how may I help you? That's the brand that I want to build. That's the DM I want to receive. And in the days of, I don't even want to say digital payments, because today it's instant settlement. Digital payments are the 1990s. Oh yeah, pay with your credit card. That settlement takes a few days. Instant settlement happens today now with digital assets. Granted, you have to be using the right one, but for all intents and purposes, it works. So with that literally present, available, possible, what else do I need to make this work? I need to house a lot of information. So I need storage. Is that cloud storage? Or is that, you know, hard drive storage in my apartment? Then I have to, keep it safe. It's not valuable now, but if in 10 years, after doing this for 5 years, it gets really, see what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to determine what will be valuable in the future without being able to tell the future. And since I look at Bitcoin as an idea, and I wonder, wouldn't it be cool if the invention of Bitcoin was recorded in an audio format? And because the person or the people wanted to disguise themselves, they then created they converted it into a text document. Imagine reading, and this would include all of the, Bitcoin subreddits, everything that people can already go through. What I want to see have happen would include conversations that people had while they were writing that epic post on Reddit that was like 5 paragraphs long, explaining someone's thoughts on where you think Bitcoin is going to go in 10 years. That kind of information is almost more valuable than the post itself. Because the post itself, I don't know about anyone out there, but I have a bad habit of spending an hour on a tweet because I end up talking and trying to figure out, how do I say this? Do I say this here? My edit can take an hour. So for what it's worth, I see it being helpful to record what I'm thinking, or in this case, what I'm saying, because I can't record what I'm thinking yet, but to record what I'm saying while I'm tweeting is kind of the whole message, to whereas if I just sent the tweet, it's a part of the message. So how frequent can you converse with people if after every tweet you have to wait 45 minutes to upload a video that you shot for an hour to help explain? It turns impossible, I think, is what I'm trying to get at. It turns impossible. And this is where I think things like blockchain technology and the storage of massive amounts of data and this, that, and the other I think all of those products are available today on the market. It's just a matter of cost effective. If I was Google, I could buy a data center or make a data center to store all the data because they have the money. But if I wanted to store and retain all of my data that I had acquired personally for my own benefit, is there a blockchain for that? Is that something that um, Global ID would provide? Is that something that Greg Kidd is thinking when he's trying to do his when he's trying to unveil his idea, his plans? So these are the things I think about and don't have any answers for because I'm a glacier. I work with my hands. I read a lot and I consume things like a banshee. And I like learning about money and I like understanding what incentive values people have and why. But as far as taking that any further to any or taking that further to means of producing a product or making something, that I do not have. So all these ideas, I kind of scratch my head and I'm like, well, I don't know if anyone else is thinking about this, but this makes a lot of sense to me. How do I figure out if it's a waste of time or if this is something that could lead to something like Bitcoin? I don't want to say I have, amazing ideas or I am the best thinker ever, but as Garyvee has pointed out, wouldn't it be cool to go and listen to Jeff Bezos as he was sitting by himself, in his whatever computer, you know, wherever he was thinking about whatever he was at some point in time. If you could say, hey, I want to know what he was thinking on this date, what if you could go find that? Granted, you might have to pay for it, but what kind of valuable information do you think, say, as a company or say as an entrepreneur or as anyone who enjoys what he has given and still has to offer the market, what if you enjoy diving into his mind and seeing what he was thinking back then? Hell, he could do the same thing as well. So that's it's not just a record what you think and blast it out on the internet. It's record what you're thinking, record the ideas you have, curate what kind of information you want to go to whom, and then have those conversations and make those exchanges with people online through the internet of value and through the other means of communications that we are developing presently and have already developed recently but are still young and new. Anyway, I think I might say this test went well, and I'm glad that no one showed up because that probably would have been very confusing and I would not have known what to do other than just keep talking. But that'll do it for this one. Now let's see what happens next. Oh, don't you love learning? Share. So I guess that means I'm done. Seriously, you're listening to someone. All right, how the heck do I stop this? I just press the X, see what happens.